The fog clung to the old house like a shroud. It was a cold, damp fog, smelling of decay and forgotten things. The house stood on a hill overlooking the town, its windows like empty eyes. No one dared to go near it. It was said to be haunted. Filemon and Klakier were not afraid. They were cats. Curiosity was in their blood, as strong as the scent of prey. Filemon, sleek and black as night, padded softly through the fog. Klakier, a fluffy ginger, followed close behind. They reached the edge of the overgrown lawn and paused. The house loomed over them, its paint peeled, revealing rotting wood beneath. The wind howled through gaps in the eaves, sounding like a mournful cry. Filemon rubbed against the gatepost, his tail twitching. Klakier let out a low meow, a question in the swirling mist. Filemon pushed open the gate. It creaked like a scream. He slipped through the gap, Klakier on his heels. The overgrown garden was dark and tangled. Weeds snagged at their fur as they moved deeper into the shadows. The front door stood ajar. A faint light flickered inside. Filemon sniffed the air. He smelled dust and damp, but also something else, something old and cold, like the breath of winter. He exchanged a look with Klakier. They padded into the house. The air inside was heavy and still. Cobwebs hung like macabre decorations. Dust lay thick on the floor. Yet the faint light drew them onwards. It seemed to come from a room at the end of the hall. Each step echoed in the silence. The floorboards groaned beneath their weight. Shadows danced on the walls, cast by the flickering light ahead. They reached the room and peered inside. The room was a study. A fire burned low in the grate, casting strange shadows on the book-lined walls. A gust of wind slammed the door shut behind them. Filemon and Klakier whirled around, startled, but there was nothing there. They turned back to the fire. It flickered wildly, sending sparks swirling into the air. Then they saw it. A book on the shelf was moving. It slid out from its place, hovered for a moment, then fell to the floor with a thud. Fear pricked at Filemon's spine. He had never seen anything like it. He hissed softly, his green eyes searching the shadows. Klakier flattened his ears against his head, a low growl rumbling in his throat. A cold draught blew through the room, extinguishing the fire. The only light now came from the moon, shining through the dusty windows. In the darkness, they heard it, a whisper, soft and cold, just behind them. Filemon and Klakier spun around. They saw nothing, but the whisper came again. This time it was clearer. "Leave while you can." It was the voice of a cat, but one filled with an ancient sorrow. Panicking, they raced for the door, but it wouldn't open. It was as if an unseen hand held it fast. They scratched and clawed at the wood, but it wouldn't budge. They were trapped. From the shadows a pair of eyes glowed. They were the color of moonlight on ice, cold and filled with a strange hunger. The eyes blinked and a shape began to form. It was a cat, but its fur was like smoke and its claws shone like silver knives. Filemon hissed, his fur standing on end. He knew this creature was not of their world. It was something old and powerful, something to be feared. The ghostly cat glided closer, its eyes never leaving them. "You are intruding," it hissed, its voice a low growl, "and now you belong to the house."